My name is Gerald. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee originally. I started playing drums when I was about 7 years old. I guess I always loved music, but I guess I could say I got into music officially at about 7. I would beat on pots and pans and drums and cars and desktops, just like you hear most drummers who've been playing a while say, you know, they got their start playing boxes. And it was kind of weird how we met. They weren't doing any playing at all. As a matter of fact, Davis was working in this particular music store at the time, and Robbie came over to me and asked me if I would just get together with them and just kind of play some music, nothing real serious. And little did I know they were actually actively looking for a drummer. My musical influences are varied, and they've always been somewhat varied, with guys like Billy Cobham, Steve Gadd, all the way up to some of the more recent guys. I mean, those guys are still around, but some of the more contemporary guys, Dennis Chambers. I mean, even some of the heavy metal guys. For instance, the guy with Slipknot. I don't know if you're familiar with this band called Slipknot, but I think the guy's name is Joey. I can't remember his last name. Phenomenal guy. My influences don't just include drums. Believe it or not, the most influential musician for me is Miles Davis. You know, he's a horn player. Just his rawness, his willingness to forge ahead, his sense of doing his own thing. You know, he's well known, obviously, for standards and things like that. But this guy, in my opinion, ushered in a new style of music, a new style of jazz music. Obviously, he came up in some of the other bands that came before him, like Dizzy and some of those guys. But I think he built upon what was given to him by some of those past experiences. But yeah, some of my influences range from drummers to horn players to guitar players, bass players, and even some classical people.
I guess I would really describe us together. Our relationship is really very much a band relationship. And I don't mean we're together just because of the music. What I mean is you got to have a little bit of a lot of things to even be interesting. He wouldn't describe himself as this, but Davis is probably that showman. He's going to draw you in, and not necessarily because he's trying, it's just his personality. Cosmo is somewhat unique in that sometimes he's very reserved, but then other times, you know, he's somewhat similar to Davis, but not really to the same level as Davis. He comes close to Davis sometimes. And then Robbie, you know, he's very bank manager most of the time, but then, you know, when you least expect it, here comes this zany thing. And Kai is really just, you know, silly most of the time. Myself, as a drummer, it's kind of my job to tie everything together, to lay something down that's consistent, that everybody else can kind of do their own thing over.